feel it's fine, killy. They make her follow, I'm relief. Now so she do use me, really. Want to.
Okay. So, hi guys, welcome to a fresh episode of Cluster Notes today. And of course, we have Micah here.
Thank you.
And we have Dara.
Hi.
And I'm Toby. And as usual, we have our special guests. And he's been with us on the last episode. And we still have him for this one, Dr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And today we'll be talking about a particular conversation that interests me a bit. You know, social media has actually been a great platform because some people have benefited from this platform
A lot.
and it causes a lot of controversy when it comes to should I be there, should I not be there, what is the level of things I should post. In fact, usually it's a bit boring when you're just at your home, you have nothing to share, especially when you want to share your story, irrespective of the story. Even you just want someone to hear it. But now you don't even need to disturb yourself. Just put it online. You see a lot of people listening to it.
And a lot of likes.
Exactly. And it interests you. And of course, there are a lot of worries around that. And when WhatsApp story just came out, it first of all felt like, what's happening? Because people were used to changing their status on the. So what's it about these stories? But later on, people fell in love with it that I can even say my mind without necessarily calling someone out to say my mind.
Yes.
So it makes it very easy for us to share up. So, and of course, based on that, there have always been a lot of views on this. And we are not here to just talk about the general views, but a particular one. And this is, now, of course, these days, especially for influencers, if I can use that word, now you share your journey, especially pregnancy journey with us. And for some of us, we watch, and then now you've given, of course, you've given.
I watch it.
You've given birth to a lot of people watch it. So let's just talk because if you see people that do not watch, it will definitely be a fraction, like 30% less than the people that watch, because that's the reason why they share it. If people are not watching, they won't share it. Yeah. So, and now they've given birth to the child. And Dimit feels that instead of bringing my child to my platform, let him or her also have his own platform.
They'll use their own platform to boost the child's platform and have two platforms.
Exactly. Where we can share his own story, irrespective of even the nature of the child. If the child wants a neutral life or a quiet or a loud life. And in a way, I've been worried sometimes because, in a way, you're going against the will of the child. And looking at it from another angle.
The will of the child.
Yes, now, because you do not know what the child wants.
So
and
the child did not want to be born, Continue.
Wait. Now, you grow up to a certain stage in life whereby you see some pictures and you feel like you're embarrassed by that picture, and you would have loved it if it wasn't shared all over social media. You see a lot of memes, you see a lot of skits these days, even using maybe your childhood picture, and you'll be like, oh, wait. So it's a matter of choice. And we will still discuss, I'm still introducing this. And of course, I've seen it from another angle too, like, okay, it's like you're already giving the child a platform from young age that he doesn't necessarily have to struggle to build a particular platform. He can just come to this platform and showcase what he has to showcase. So there are a lot of things, but today we are just here to look at the potential benefits, because definitely, no matter how little, one might outweigh the other, but there are benefits to it, and of course, maybe the drawbacks or the cons to setting this. So I think Dara is very hot on the matter. Is it something that you would create for your child if you have an opportunity?
It's not something I would create for my child. That's not really where I am. I'm just like, I don't see anything wrong with it. I probably would not. I don't know. I'm not as much of a social person as I wish I was, but I probably would not. But I don't think it's anything. Like, I think why in this day and age where everything, like every young, old, the grandmas are on social media, the great grandmas are on social media, the millennials, the Gen Z, everybody is already on social media, and social media is going to continue growing and growing and growing and growing. So it's not a thing of, and social media is also has become a job gone self. It's become another way of making money and all that. It's become a career field. It's become influencer, making money and stuff like that. So what's the problem with that?
I think the difference between this kind of career and the previous career is that you do not necessarily have to talk about your personal life in the real career. And now this kind of career is more of you sharing, putting out your life for people to see. Now let's imagine like a child, just a young child, maybe they diagnosed the child of a particular medical condition. And then because the parents have been carrying people along on the journey of the child, and now everyone knows that this child has this condition, and maybe even they've managed it and all that. But the child might have loved it if the information wasn't all out, but he wasn't aware of that. So there are a lot of things that might actually play out in this case. So now you're still not clear about this thing.
I get what you're saying, but it's just
so and this is what I'm now saying, that this is a personal life being put out there. So though it's a job, but you know that it's a job that you can never take back anything that you've said because there is a receipt for it. But your normal job, you're just building your career. Even they might not know if you're married or you're not married. But this one, it's like you're already telling people that this is the age of my child. So I don't know, sir.
Are you coming from like, how the child will feel 20, 30 years from that? Is that where you're coming from, as in the negative? Like, because we're doing it now, what about 20 to 30 years ago? How would the reaction be? Is that where you're coming from?
There will even be a lot of negatives, but this is just like one aspect to it. I'm just sharing this particular aspect. Mm-hmm. And of course, there will also be a lot of positives. As I mentioned the positive earlier, you never even talked about that, but it's more of because I talked about this particular negative. But of course, the feelings is, valid. If I feel like this particular information should have been private, should not have been public in the first instance, is that wrong for me to feel that way
who are you
growing up over time?
Are you the child?
Of course, as the child,
15 to 20 years.
That my parents, my parents. Because even during high school or during your university days, some people might have stumbled on the video, and now my age group might even be joking about that thing, and it might affect my self-esteem. You don't believe that? See the way she is looking.
You're just looking at it. The pictures that your mother took of you and showed it to guests and everything like that, when you were young. Now that you're 20 years, do you regret it? Has it impacted you? Like, how does it feel for you?
How many of those guests do you still remember? How many of those guests would even show you?
No,
but
you can't compare. That example doesn't. That's like oranges to pineapples, because one has a larger audience than the other, and one is just a closed. It's like the example you are giving is like pictures you share in your WhatsApp.
No, the purpose of the example. No, the purpose of that example. The purpose of that example was to say that you don't even remember, like you didn't like the.
But this social media, so the history is there. That's the point.
So unless someone comes and brings up that,
it always comes up. Nothing is forgotten on the internet.
Why is it now to the social space?
This is if something up, like the reason why the internet will come with receipts is if there's a problem and there's something like, come and see this is how
someone will go through life without problem.
And of course, this is even a public space. Like you have larger space of people. People are looking for ways to bring people down. And this is even going back to politics earlier.
For me personally, and my stand has always been known on social media is to be. In terms of having social media for your kids, some people look at it as an asset for their kids to build upon and maybe make a living and create that celebrity lifestyle. So if you speak to people of that mindset, they will look at it as, I have this big platform, I have like maybe 3 million followers. Now I've given birth, let me build this asset for my child on this digital asset for them to grow and all. Regardless of if the child may want to dive into that lifestyle or not. The child can obviously delete it or delete the platform. And then it all boils down to, like I would say, it all boils down to what each person wants from how they view the digital age we live in. There are people that like sharing, but the same people that like sharing, when the backlash comes, they will now tell you, which I've always said, you can't have both. You share, you must be ready to take what comes from the sharing. You can't say you share and then people shouldn't have an opinion. It doesn't work that way. What is given?
Dara is always against that.
What is given?
When did I say I know that I'm not against that? I understand
what you put out, be ready to.
Because you said people shouldn't have opinions because you're not posting them because of them. But
be ready to collect it. But like I always say, and some people will still not agree. Why are people on social media? It boils down to why they are on social media.
We are not even talking about people now. We are just looking at.
No. So it's why is the parent on social media? That mindset would roll out to them creating a social media account for their child.
So if
or for some people, someone like you now, you rather not do it, right? And wait for the child to make.
Let me now give a simple example which might relate with some of us. Now, if I'm a preacher and I have 3 million followers and I want my child to also preach the gospel, and I am saying, okay, let me create the platform where you can preach the gospel, and then I started sharing that. So I just intentionally use that example so that at least it's not necessarily you looking for validation or something, but it's like a platform.
Yeah, so that falls into, you want to create that asset for the child on digital platform. So that's what I'm saying. It just depends on the parents' ideology and perspective of how they view social media. They want some people just look at it as fun. They just want to share their kids' picture. Some people will give the excuse of now. One famous word people use is Instagram is the photo book. How we got to that mindset, I don't know. But if I give the example of we have Google Drive, people will say they will tackle me. But you have Google Drive that can be a good photo book, and Google has this way of they'll even do collage for you and everything. You will skip that one. It's Instagram, and you get so people will find a way to sell how they want to view it. Is it right or wrong? Personally, it's not something I would do. Like create a social media account for my child. Then you are the one that will take the picture. You are the one that will write the caption. You will not try and
mommy. Yeah, we'll be thanking mommy for doing it.
So the funny one is when you do birthday for the child, you will not type in the caption, "Mommy, thank you for." You're the one that typed the caption. So
you're thanking yourself. Of course, it's all about what gives you.
It's what gives future.
Yeah.
So,
one of the questions I love to ask most times is why people do what they do. Why do people do what they are doing? What led them into it? And I'll be forever thankful to my parents that they are not on social media.
Still yes, still not.
Because when they gave birth to me, there was no social media. So and they are still not. My mother is 68 or 70 now. So
she's
not
on Facebook.
No, she doesn't have any business.
My mom too. We created one for her, but she doesn't even use
Why
it.
Did people create?
And
just
actually, a research was conducted to know why do people open social media accounts for their children. And two things stand out in the research. They interviewed those that create social media for their children, and they also sample popular opinion. But for those that create social media accounts for their children, two things stand out why they are doing it. Number one, some of them said they want to, rather than the normal conventional album, they want to preserve the picture, the memory, the milestone of their children on social media platforms so it doesn't get lost. Two, for monetary purpose. Now, those are the two things that stood out.
So in the survey, which came first, the monetary or the album?
The album.
Of course.
The album came first.
No one wants to admit they
of course, you would not.
I'm surprised. I thought
you don't know, but you won't start with that.
I thought the monetary would come first.
The album came first.
What happened to Google Drive?
No.
So those are the two key standout reasons why people do it. Now, I will come back to that, to that reason. Like I always say, people have reason for doing what they do. And sometimes people don't have reason. They just do it because they see people doing it. So, but now the question is this. when you are doing what you do, did you ever think of the privacy of that child?
Nah, I don't think so.
That's the first question. Now, because did you also consider that there are child law? You know, even though there are not much pronounced policy in terms of whether parent, and I think countries should be moving towards that direction now. And even on YouTube, there are child policy.
Yes.
There are things you can do. I don't know if you get that.
There's even YouTube
So,
for kids.
YouTube for kids.
Just
Now, it's a different case. Maybe your kids are in an event, but I mean, you cover them, you put it on social media. That's a different case. And, you know, just snapping when he's eating, when he's crawling, all of those things. So, now, and you are also exposing that child to danger. As anybody ever has, where is the boy that hacked Home Alone?
Oh yeah. He
You know, it was once
he has fallen off.
Yeah, it was once
I saw
a
it, yes.
UN ambassador.
Yes.
But now his life is completely wrecked
Fame
because
spouted.
he couldn't manage fame. So when you expose your children, and you see, the research has shown that when you use too much of social media, it has a way of affecting your brain. So when you expose your child early to all of this platform, you are exposing them to danger early. Regardless of, you see, when the negativity outweighs the advantage, there is no sense in doing
There
it.
is no sense in it. I agree.
By
with
the
that
way, before social media, before Instagram, do people preserve pictures?
Different ways.
And in 30 years' time, how does that picture put food on that child table? How does it change his life? Now, what if that's not what if he decides to sue you for putting in a country like Canada where children can sue their parents? If he decides to sue you for exposing him early to danger. You see, some parents should be prepared that their children will cause them one day for what they are causing them now. Because I feel that there are things that should not be made public. But you see, we have actually lost the sense of differentiating between things that should be
Public.
you know, personal,
Private
and you know, we make it public. Now it's a different case that, you know, I came to Dara's house and she gave me a album. She only gave me an album because we are close.
Yes.
And that person could come and you don't give the album to the person. So, but when it comes to social media, you never can tell how many people will see that thing you are posting.
I like that example you gave because it reminded me of growing up. Our parents' wedding album.
Yeah.
It was in the parlor, but it wasn't given to everyone that comes into the parlor.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not close to the family, you don't see the wedding album book.
And my worry is even that if you're posting the child coming back from school, it might even be at home, and someone might have noticed the uniform and be like, this child is in this school.
You know,
we can take this.
The interesting part is that if you are living in a country where security is a problem, look, there is no... You can easily kidnap people without any trace. Just trace their movement on social media.
Yes.
You see, I found out that I can know what people are going through by reading their posts. I don't spend so much time on social media. I really don't like. In fact, people have to educate me on why I should use WhatsApp before I start using WhatsApp. Because
It's
you
WhatsApp
can.
social media. To me,
Yes.
it's just
Yeah.
message. It's the same messages.
It's a messaging
communication.
It's a
Yeah.
messaging platform that has embedded.
Some people children were kidnapped because the kidnapper could trace the movement. They have watched how you post the picture of that child over time. They know where to take that child. So you have exposed them.
Kidnapping is sorry, but when we're talking about kidnapping, the place that goes into my mind is Nigeria. That is more common for kidnapping than
No.
They
in
also
Canada.
kidnap
Okay,
They
so-
kidnap here. How
No.
do you know?
You
There
don't
was this
receive all
artist in
these-
South Africa
Oh,
Alas,
yeah,
I
I
do
do,
that
I
someone-
do.
that he was. I don't know if you heard of the
I
story.
do.
It was.
that was shot.
It was shot. So there are some celebrities that they've posted they were at somewhere and
Yeah.
a rival gang.
So
And
that's
see
like,
that.
see, social media has its cons. There are massive cons to social
and that's-
media,
that-
and
and
We are
that's
not-
included.
and now we are
in
not even
the
looking
cons.
at
Yeah.
your own
That's
personal
included.
choice.
Yeah, we
That's
We are
talk
not
about
included.
the children now.
That's included in the cons of social media. I agree with that one. Social media is dangerous. Social media is dangerous for children. I agree with that one. I have no comments to say with that one. Actually, in terms of children, social media is very dangerous for them. But then, as I said, there are also the pros to social media.
So does
that are
which
included.
outweighs which?
That's
Because
your
that I
choice
feel
to
that
make.
I feel
That is your choice
Honestly,
to make.
to be very honest,
You should know you should not like see when
No, but-
when you choose. I'm saying that people are. I mean, I say I probably will not do it just because, but people are allowed, as long as you know the pros and the cons, and you make your choice based on the information you are giving.
so I like what you said.
And then
You
when
make-
I was thinking about social media for kids, I was not necessarily thinking about when the baby is like newborn or anything like that. I was not necessarily, because in my own mind, when they are newborn, the baby is still part of your social media. Like if you're already an influencer, right? That is already part of your own page. Like most people don't really create
Huh?
one,
No,
like
they do.
yes,
do.
I mean,
There are a
for
lot of
myself,
them.
from what
All
I
of them
I
do.
can't even pick it. Bring it up.
from when me understand, from how me I was looking at it is that it's not, but I was looking at it in terms of like when the kid is already like maybe when the kid is already walking around or like
That's too long.
oh no, and me I'm like the reason why I'm thinking like at the end of the day they will grow, they will go to 7 years. Even how old are people, kids now, that they don't even need their parents to open social media, they themselves will open it for themselves, right?
But they determine
But then
what's
the thing
going
is
on
that
they determine
Yeah,
what's going
some
on
parents still moderate.
that's the I'm saying that
What's
no, I'm even
the-
saying that the ones that they're like, oh, I'm not opening social media for when the kid is grown enough, right? Everybody has social media. They themselves, without asking their parent or anything like that,
And
they
that's
will
what I'm
go
saying.
go
Like
and
the kid
but-
is in
they
charge
will
of
go
something.
and open
The
their own
child-
page.
The
and
child would
everything.
open
Yeah.
But in
based
my own
on
mind,
his
I'm
preference.
like, is it not better for the child to be like the mother to know that, oh, I'm in charge of this social media. I'm the one that is in charge of it, right? I know. I've already like the person already knows social media, so I can actively monitor it instead of like, oh, I'm not, don't do social media, clinical, and then the child in the corner. is
Okay,
going to go
so-
and
so let's-
it's more
let me-
dangerous.
let me ask this
Is it
question.
not
Let's
better to
move
see
it.
the child at your bottom of the
let
nose
me-
than the
let
child
me-
ID
Let
to
me
go and
give
do
an
social
example.
media?
I like what you said, but I remember when US called the founder of TikTok for at the Senate,
Yeah.
his own kids are
They
not
are
on
not on
social.
social
are not- are
media,
not-
yeah, he
so
said
if
it.
you realize there is a pattern that the people that create these platforms, that kids are never
Now,
are never
let
on the
me-
platform.
Let me say something here. If, for example, you are my mom and you create a social media for me, by the time I grow up and I decide to open my page, am I obliged to use the one you
Yes.
create for me?
You will, because that one has more followers.
No.
Only if you want to start afresh.
Afresh.
Yeah. Honestly, I may feel that just like is it Charles now that left the palace? I may feel that
Ari.
No,
Ari,
Ari.
yeah, sorry,
Ari
Ari.
Omega.
What are
Now
you?
I may feel that
Prince
look,
Ari.
you don't have to.
Ari Omega.
Why should you be in charge of my life? I mean, you don't know. A lot of children are not really concerned about the crowd they are pulling. They want independence.
True.
They want their own.
So
life.
regardless of the number of people that are already
Some
following
people
you,
even
they
do.
want independence. That I want to be independent of you,
I want to do my own thing.
Yeah, let me
create
do my own thing.
Set of people.
not about you.
Yeah.
So, whatever reason people have, I mean, somebody said that he realized that when he on his own page he doesn't have much follower, but when he created a page for his kid, the child has much followers because people like watching
Baby picture.
baby's picture,
Baby picture.
you know, like that, and said that make him or her more money, you know, like that.
Yes.
So now, the question is, why should your child become a monetary
Yes,
tool?
That's another point.
That's
Why?
another one.
Why?
Because the child is chopping the money. The child is an expense.
So is it trouble
You
now?
should provide.
Now, when you're giving birth because you know that you can make more money through the child.
No. You're not giving birth. You just when you
but
give
that
birth,
is
and then
just-
the child is taking so
So
much
based on that
money.
survey, based on the survey, yes.
Do you know it is very it is, you know, it takes time to get a very clear picture of, you know, of what you post on Instagram, you know, like that. If you really want to take it as business, like some do,
Yeah.
they spend a lot of time trying to
Professional.
get the posture of their child.
What you
I mean, that time you can spend with the child to read, to do
But what do you
something.
mean? You're spending time with
In
the child,
fact-
so
in
just
fact-
because-
Snap his picture.
Is that not
The
more-
child will
Must
sleep
must
and
it,
they
must
will
it have
wait.
to be picture?
They
Must
will
it
wait
have
for the
be-
child to wake up.
Honestly,
You are
I
with the
I
child.
saw one
you're having
birthday
a
shoot
moment
like that.
with the child.
I consider that,
That's
very,
still a moment.
very,
That's still connection. That's still growing
on a
up.
personal
No,
or
it's
note.
it's a professional connection.
It's
always
not a
different.
professional
Because the
connection.
camera guys are also around or something
No,
like.
nah, it's
Yeah.
not all the
You-
time. They use their phone.
No,
Now.
sometimes you see
on a
like
personal
No,
if
it's
note,
different.
on a personal note, I really don't think I will ever support that.
Ever support your child having?
No.
Crazy.
But your child will have social media.
No,
at the end
he
of the day.
will certainly.
At
He can do
least,
it
yeah.
himself.
At his
You
age,
see,
that
one
is-
thing we must trust God to help us for is that your child should come to a point that he can trust you. You see, I found out that when people trust you, there's nothing they can share with you. I don't know if you get. When they know they are safe, when your child know they are safe around you, even if they mess up, they can trust you. And you see, what we need is God should give us wisdom to manage all of this. But you see, the most important thing is don't create. There is already enough problem in this world that your child will come and face himself. Don't create more for him.
Because how do you want such a child to manage privacy? He has never even known
He has
anything
never
about
known
privacy.
anything
But
about
then the
privacy
child
all
is
his
not the
life.
owner of the
Managing
account. You are the ones that is.
boundaries
You are
and
the
all
No,
one
yeah,
that
but you're
is
grooming the
in
account
control.
to give to the
Yeah,
child.
the one that is in
Child
control of the
You are in
account.
control, but
no.
one day that child, will you hide
Yes,
the
but then
account?
it's the same at the same time as when the child will still open their own social media themselves. It's
So
But it's always
if your
different
child
because
asks you,
okay.
why did you do it? Why did you open the social media for me? What will you tell him?
Monetary value.
is it no. Is the child going to open a social media?
No,
Himself.
No, you can't
No.
count
He
that
will
with a
open.
question.
No, if
No,
I ask
is the
you-
child going to open a
If-
social media
no.
account themselves? Like
This-
in the
Yeah,
day and
this-
age we are in, no, the reason why I'm asking this is that in the day and day where they are in, that everybody has a social media account.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the guy is still going to open a social media account. Because I'm opening it early is the problem.
So,
Now,
but
it's like you have a child of 9 months and you're opening social media for him.
9 months is too late, though.
It's too late,
9 months
actually.
is late.
Yeah, you're opening social
Even
media
before
for
birth, I've
a
seen
child.
before birth.
Yeah, people open before birth.
I
They
saw
say when he
before
was
birth.
in
Yeah, I
7 months, like that.
I know.
Now, what do you want to make out of that? In fact, you are not even sure whether you give birth to that child in the womb. 7 months. What if the child did not come?
You started doing baby shower.
So
They'll do miscarriage real.
so you will put it there on social media again.
It's
Miscarriage
sickening now.
review.
I
haven't
seen
it's
that.
real. It's just
Honestly,
a real.
regardless
talking
of,
about
and
the
do you know
experience.
that most of these social media have age limit when you can even open?
A lot of people, even
Yeah,
Facebook
people
now.
bypass and lie.
In Facebook,
Yeah,
where
so
did
it
not,
means
who
Means
did
that
not
to
open?
open your child
It's only me
mail,
that follow
to open
Facebook.
social media account for your child, you have to lie.
No, but the thing is that you can open social media, but you'll be in control. It's just that it's just the child's name. You are the one in control.
Parental
Nah,
guidance.
I'm
of
not
it.
sure.
So it's
I'm
not the
aware
it's
about
not the
that.
child that is using it. You are the one that is using it. But you're just like you're the one. It's not the child that is using it.
Well, you see, for whatever reason, based on study, the reason I'm saying, for me, it doesn't make much sense to me, to be very honest. I feel that, people should think more about the future of their child than the benefit of today.
The world is going like the way we are going right now in
Well,
terms
that
of
was-
Yeah, don't-
There's
digitalization.
still effect to those things
Yes,
that
I
you're
get
saying.
it. I'm saying,
A
but
lot
I'm
of
just saying
effect.
that the world is going in 20, 30 years. That I don't even know what social media or what digitalize or what we'll be doing in terms of
somebody
the
said
digital
something-
life that we are going
Somebody
to.
said something to me
So I
one
don't-
year, and I add on to that. That should be 2014. Said the world is already dirty. Don't hide your own.
Nice one.
Honestly,
That's
I mean, you already found dirty. You say his place is already dirty, just like people throw paper on the ground. You say it's already dirty now. You put your own there. Why not save us of your own stress?
But the world
It's
is not going
already-
to get
it-
cleaner
it-
if
you
you
see,
don't do
if
anything.
you
Like
save
just
us
because
your
you're not
own-
doing anything doesn't mean
If it's already a dirty place, I mean, the world. I mean, the social media world is already getting bastardized. It's already bastardized. not-
It's already bad.
So,
far
but
gone.
you
Social
see, you
media
can
is not good.
save. I can save my child the trauma. I mean, the stress of this thing by properly educating him before he goes into that.
That's the
But-
important thing.
So, but I will not open for him before I ever educate him.
But then the thing is that opening for the person being in charge. Well, see, this
I
is
will
how
know you can't be
no,
in
this
charge
is
of
no,
your
so-
child life
this
forever.
is how I this is how I view it. When you open a social media account for
You're 1 years old
The
child.
3
1
month,
year, 3 month old, whichever one it is. It's not the child it's not 3 months that is scrolling through social media.
No.
It's not the child that is doing. You're going to be in control of the account till however long. But then as much as the fact that whether you are in charge of the account until the child is 5 years old and the child is now decides to go and open their own account, the fact that you've been in charge, as you are using the social media, you are already educating them in a way of like, okay, oh, this is so be careful.
Yeah.
Like you, that's how me.
The
I'm
question
viewing
is,
it.
what are you posting there? Is it your picture that you're posting there?
It's a child.
The child, why are you posting 3 months yet old picture? Is 4 months you post his picture? Is 5 months you post his picture? Till he's 18 years. So he does not have any privacy in his life.
Everyone
Because
knows,
you have posted him from 3 months up to the time
The
he
child
has
is
the
still
right.
going to go open social media.
Yeah, but let him
No,
save
not
him the
everyone.
stress of 18 years. I mean, the time he has to be mature to open. Save him that stress of, doing
So,
it.
we'll save him
okay.
that trend. Do you know the trend that is going right now? You're 10 years before. Show picture of where you were 10 years.
know.
So where you are. So it's
See, we know.
And that is even the beauty
someone
of it.
really
That's the beauty of this 10 years something, because it's not known to a lot of people, and
it
then you are
doesn't matter
showing
whether
your
it's
growth.
known or not.
No,
It's
that-
still going to show.
no.
It's still,
No,
but
but
even
that's
if
why I
you
said-
were still
Even
famous,
that,
you still do the
that's
10
what
years
you
and
decide
the-
on doing,
the
not
10 years
necessarily
before,
putting
10
it
years
out.
Yeah,
after.
but that's you deciding you want to jump on
Do
the
it
trend.
exactly.
That's why I
Not
said
everyone does that.
The
anyways.
world is dirty. Remove your own dirt.
So
Don't
now
hide your own.
I want
As
to
I
look at
said,
this from a
I-
positive, and this is the question I want to ask. I've seen few people at least use their children to achieve some great things, even for those children on their own. Maybe I might not now be able to say a lot about them at the
Yeah.
moment, and this is an example. I'm still trying to remember few ones because I thought about some even in outside Nigeria.
Yeah.
Well, a common example is the Destined Kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
if
Destiny
you-
Kids.
Yeah, if you're familiar
Destiny
with those ones.
Yeah.
Like, the parents knew, okay, singing might necessarily, if the parents were the ones singing, they might not have been able to put that traction they were able to pull with those children.
Yeah.
And I think it was part of the memory of a lot of Nigerian children, even growing up, listening to those kids. And
Yes.
eventually, it got to the point whereby it got to. So I wasn't necessarily saying that if I'm opening a platform for my child for something of that nature, not necessarily even to post the picture or to do all that, but I'm opening a platform for the child to showcase his talent, because
Okay.
I'm now seeing few of those recently these days. Well, I'm seeing few of those recently these days, whereby I think I saw one Purposeful Brothers or something. What they do is just sing on their platforms and maybe play around
Yeah.
and all that. So, are we going to say that's also bad in a way?
No.
All right. my time is up.
Changing
Now
script. Or what does he always say?
let's look at it this way. The ones we are referring to, for example, when you talk about opening platform, you need to check. Most times, it is either. Most times, maybe not all the time. It is either is on the parent platform, their personal platform, or they have an household name that they use for what they are doing. I don't know if you get now.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
For that
for
particular child.
for that particular child. And most times what they put there is, what those children are showcasing. For example, if they sing, what you will see there is their song, not their crawling. Now, what we are addressing here, so that we don't mix it together,
Exactly. That's
is
the point.
people putting 3 months pictures. I don't look at most of these things. I will never watch it. I will not.
The day they gave birth.
No, yeah. So people putting 3 months picture. The question is, what lesson did I want to learn from crawling?
Some people they teach other children how to.
Other children, 3 month children that will come and watch.
And then
They give tips.
Nah,
the 3 months we learn how to crawl.
They give
from
tips. I'm like, see, this is how I learned how to crawl. You do.
You see, in the state of abnormality, even abnormality becomes normal. And it's understandable.
That's what we
You
are
see,
now.
There are
That's
things
the
that,
world now.
no matter how we try, we can't change it entirely. I don't know if you get now.
Yeah.
But you see, I can decide how to live my life, basically. But you see, when you look at those people that we are talking about that showcase what their children is doing, like that, it's a different thing entirely. It's just like the child went for a quiz and they won and they cover it and cowbell show it. That's a different thing. I don't know if you get that. Bring more motivation. Is passing a message
So that
compared to I'm just posting picture just to pull crowd. You see, 90% of the what's it called now? The motive behind doing all of these things is wrong.
Yes.
I'm telling you the truth.
Yes.
So you need to judge your motive. You need to check why you are doing it. So that is a different thing. That if, for example, now, my child suddenly began to play drum sets, he began to play instruments, he began to do all of those things. Now, that could be a motivation for another person. For me, it is not about money. It is not about money. Even though I'll still be careful to do that. But it is not about the crowd. It is not about the people I'm pulling, but about what this child is doing. Oh, at this age, I never knew, this my child can do it. Just like the Imafidov family in the UK, that their child is writing, exam, their Cambridge exam at the age of 9, 8, and they are passing, like that. So, at that age, I don't expect you to pass. So if you are doing that, I can do that it is possible. That's a different case.
But if I'm not doing it
So you're
because of
saying
money,
it's a question of content.
Yeah,
Is the
it's a question
content
of-
that
yeah.
is the
I
question
won't
of
say- I won't say
content?
content.
And a question of
Moral.
not just content, it's also a question of moral. And at what stage, what is that child doing that you are posting? If it's just to show the picture of when he's walking, when he's crawling, when he's
That's content.
when
now.
he's eating, when he's I congratulate those that are watching it. Congratulations to them.
But
Of course.
if I now think of this, like I'm doing it for money,
Yeah,
but not necessarily for myself,
but for the
or
child.
for the child. Maybe I have a particular savings
own
or
it.
something for the child.
Own it with your full
No,
chest.
I'm not saying. I'm just.
I mean,
using
what
that
if they've
as an
announced it
example.
one
You know,
time? They've owned it.
what
And
I'm
people are
doing
still
now is
questioning
just to
it.
look at it from different angles.
Yes, I
I'm
get
not
it.
saying
That's-
how
yeah,
they,
true.
so because now I can say that okay, I want to start this thing for the child, and it's not even based on the money. Because I've noticed that sometimes we want to say it's not for the money, but some people actually do it for the money and they accept it.
They own it,
And
yeah.
exactly, I can now think of it like, okay, this money can also help this child
Yeah.
growing
Yes,
up.
now.
I'll put it somewhere. So is it totally wrong if I'm building something
what
for
used
the
to
child?
interest
in
me
that-
about the age we live in is that people have good English to justify very bad things. I'm telling you, very good English, very busy. Say, I want to save money for the child, like that. The question is the child asking you to save money for him?
Coming
let's look at
after
this- Let's look at this thing. Now, and in truth, you say you are saving money for that child. Will you spend that money?
Yes, now there's an account.
There's an account, and you're in control of that account, And the truth is this. Look, I'm going to say, put it this way. Don't endanger your child for a money they may never live to spend. Don't put their life on the line.
That's deep.
Don't say money, because you need them to be alive to spend that money.
Yes.
So don't. You see, it is important that you consider. Sit down. We are not in a age where you just make or irrational thing. You just do irrational thing, like that. And it's important that you first consider what is the implication of this thing in the long run on the life of this child. If you divide it, if you divide it and you feel that this is not going to help him in the long run, it is safe that you let him be alive. It can make much more money than you are saving. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I think to an extent, of course, and most importantly, even if you're doing it, I feel like be careful, because in a way the child might not understand some things about even how to manage film, just like you said, and understanding boundaries and privacy. He has always been used to that life of receiving DMs, thousands of DMs, even when he was still 5. And of course, the parents are managing it. Now, they are now transferring their account, let's even say at the age of 16, and they are still receiving a lot of DMs, and you are not used to the life of DMs. And then you're seeing different offers, and those offers might actually affect you in life or something like that. So I think the main aim is at least teach them well to even understand all these things. And of course, I think the content matters, just as you said, like, do not endanger the life of a child just for monetary purpose. And I believe you've learned one or two things from this episode, and this is a good place to call it a day for us. So thank you for listening, and share your thoughts around the creating an account too, and let's hear from you. We would love to see your comments too, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you on the next video. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you.
Bye.